What about Eastern Europe? Heading over there, that's got to be a whole different kettle of fish as well.
That was really interesting. It sort of felt like it was exactly what we wanted to do, was to go to places we'd never been before and sort of have that feeling again of trying to win people over, in which we hadn't had in a long time, because we'd played in these same places in these big towns in, like, you know, Western Europe and America and Australia and Japan and stuff like that. It was go to places that almost like we kind of walk out on stage and really nobody would really clap that much a lot of times, because it was like, we don't know who you guys are. We saw a poster up on the wall or something, so we thought we'd come to the show. A lot of these places don't have our records, you know, because they can't be distributed out there. So there's all bootlegs and things. And then you get there, and it's maybe 200, 300 people size place.
So these are really small venues you're playing again?
A lot of them were, yeah. Because we'd never been there before, and they never had our records in stores there or anything. No one ever heard of us. So it felt really great, because by the end of the show, it just felt like there's a loyalty. You kind of feel that you're almost like, wow, I think we've really made friends for life with some of those people, you know. And there's loyalty in a lot of other countries outside of America that you don't know, you don't really sense that as much in America. I mean, it's there in America, I'm not saying it ain't, but you get this loyalty. Like when we were down in South America, they sort of said, well, yeah, this is probably, you know, the only place in the world where Alan Parsons' project still tours, you know? Because the fans are so loyal, you know.
It's true. You go down to South America, and there are bands that you know, can't get a gig in America anymore.
Yeah,
who you know, can still go and do 20,000 know venues down there. Right. You know, when you visit somewhere like that, when you get to see a place that you've never been to before, and meet, you know, people obviously who, as you said, probably haven't even, you know, heard the music. They just sort of are aware of a name. They come out to see a show. Is that humbling in some kind of way? Because as you said, it sort of brings you back down to basics of trying to win over a new audience, and it really sort of comes back to the beginning, I guess, of, you know, when you first start performing for people.
Yeah, it's really good. It's sort of it's very challenging, and it makes us feel like nothing's ever changed. That's a good feeling to have. Like, it's not like we're, you know, walking out on stage and, you know, somebody's toweling off your forehead, and as you are handed a guitar, you know, this sort of feeling, you know, that you can get to that point where it just gets nicer and nicer and nicer. But every time it gets nicer, a lot of times, you know, emotionally or whatever, or mentally, we try to bring it down and make it harder on ourselves again. Because if you don't make it hard on yourselves, you start coasting into this area I don't want to be in, you know, which is satisfaction. And that was you know, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to release an album and go tour South America and Eastern Europe. You know, that's bad business. You know what I mean? But it's good business for my brain, because it's makes me feel like, man, not everything. I like making it harder on myself, I guess.
You know, we were talking before we started rolling the tape about perhaps the business end of being in the music industry. It is an industry, but you're an artist. You're creative people who spend time making a record. How do you deal with that side of things at this point? You know, once you get to that point where you sell, you know, millions of records, is that a part of it? Is that a reaction to it by going and touring somewhere where nobody knows you?
Yeah, I think that's just a reaction, you know, that we've had. It's a way to kind of keep balanced, I guess. When that stuff is thrown at you, you're sort of forced, whether you like it or not, to decide what your moves are at that point. And, you know, if you sold 100 records or 1,000 records or 1,000,000 records, you're sort of thrown into a new realm where you have to start making decisions. On a lower level, when we had our first album and it sold 1,000 copies, and we thought, good Lord, you know, we're bigger than the Beatles.
Yeah.
We sold 1,000 records, you know, and for our community at that time, that was a big deal, you know. And we were playing shows out of town, going on tour. Oh my God, you know, a lot of bands in Detroit had not even really done that, and that was like, okay, I guess the next step is we get to go and play other towns, and then we get to warm up for some other band, and then we get to do this, and then look, all of a sudden we get to not have to have a day job anymore. You know, maybe we're scrambling for gas money on the road, but at least we don't have to work, you know, somewhere else. You know?
Is it easy to remember that stuff, or do you have to stop every now and then?
Well, I think we're going back to Eastern Europe reminded me quickly. Yeah.
I want to thank you guys for coming in and playing for us today. Our guests are Jack and Meg White, and they are the White Stripes. And we're going to go back to our second set, and they're on Morning Becomes Eclectic. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.